NATO is now on a knife's edge, as a second member nation suffers a dramatic drone scare. Far from the Ukrainian front lines, a NATO member has raised a serious drone alarm. Authorities ultimately failed to find any trace of the alleged drone, even after Germany shut down its second biggest airport. Vladimir Putin has seized on the chaos to call out what could be an alleged NATO false flag.
Это грубая, наглая ложь.
As Joseph Goebbels used to say back in the day, the more incredible the lie, the faster people will believe it.
A possible drone was reportedly spotted at Germany's Munich Airport just a day after the dramatic UAV attack in Romania, linking two incidents that have deeply unsettled NATO capitals. Flights at Munich Airport were suspended for roughly an hour after flight crews reported seeing a drone, forcing a sudden halt to takeoffs and landings at one of Europe's key aviation hubs. The incident was first widely reported by international media on May 30th, quoting both the airport administration and German police as primary sources. At around 9 a.m. local time, pilots of two separate planes said they had sighted an unknown drone flying dangerously close to the runway area. In response, the airport administration moved quickly to temporarily suspend all takeoff and landing operations, prioritizing safety over schedule. More than 20 flights that were scheduled to land in Munich had to be diverted to other German and foreign airports, creating a ripple effect of delays across the region. Police launched a large-scale search operation in and around the airport, even deploying a helicopter to scour the skies and perimeter for any sign of the drone. Despite the intensive search, officers were unable to locate either the suspected drone or its operator, leaving the incident shrouded in uncertainty. After extensive inspections, police concluded there was no immediate threat to air traffic, allowing authorities to gradually relax emergency measures. By 10:05 a.m. local time, the airport was reported to be fully operational again, with flights resuming and diverted aircraft slowly being rerouted back into the system. This is not the first time Munich Airport has faced such chaos, as alleged drone sightings in October 2025 had already forced several temporary shutdowns and raised serious security questions. Notably, this latest scare came just as Romania was still reeling from a confirmed drone attack on May 29th, deepening concerns about a pattern of incidents across NATO territory. The Russian drone hit a Romanian apartment block, sparking a fire and injuring two people, an alarming incident that has left residents shaken and authorities scrambling to investigate how a weapon from the battlefield ended up in a civilian neighborhood. The drone strike happened in Galati, near Romania's borders with Ukraine and Moldova, an area long on edge because of its proximity to the front lines and the growing risk of unintended cross-border incidents. Romania confirmed the drone entered its airspace during a major Russian attack near Ukraine, saying the timing suggests the incident was connected to intensified military operations rather than an isolated navigational error. Romania said the strike was a border conflict spillover, not a direct attack, stressing that while they judge it unintentional, the consequences for civilians are real and demand a firm response. However, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen said Russia's war had crossed yet another line, warning that this latest episode marks a dangerous escalation with implications for European security and solidarity. NATO condemned Russia's recklessness after the drone struck Romanian territory, calling the incident unacceptable and underlining the alliance's concern about any action that endangers member state civilians. It is the first time Romanian civilians were hurt during the Ukraine war spillover, a grim milestone that highlights how the conflict's human toll is expanding beyond Ukraine's borders. 2 people were treated for abrasions and nearly 70 residents were evacuated, as emergency services worked through the night to tend the wounded, secure the site, and move vulnerable residents to safety. Romania said the drone's entire explosive payload detonated inside the building, amplifying the damage to the structure and increasing the risk to anyone who happened to be inside at the time. Romania scrambled 2 F-16 fighter jets after detecting the incoming drones, deploying air assets in a rapid response meant to intercept threats and reassure the public that their airspace is being defended. The Romanian military had only 4 minutes between detection and impact, a tiny window that underscores how rapidly such threats can materialize and how limited options can be for interception. Romanian President Nicolae Dan called an emergency national security meeting, convening top officials to review the incident, coordinate a response, and consult with allies on the next steps. Romania said drone debris landed on its territory 47 times since the Ukraine war began. Italy officials say demonstrates a persistent hazard along the border and a pattern of spillover incidents that have endangered communities. Vladimir Putin has now reacted to European claims that a Russian drone was used in the Romania strike, pushing back against the accusations and accusing the West of manipulating the narrative.
It may sound strange, but just before entering here I was informed that some incident had occurred involving what was allegedly our drone. If you would be so kind as to repeat it to me once again, I would be very grateful. I am speaking without jokes or irony, and I would comment based on what I know.
European countries are talking a lot about this. Why didn't they shoot down the drone that is being linked to Russia, which entered their airspace?
Do you hear me or not? I don't even understand what you are talking about. I was told before entering the hall that a drone had entered Romania. I don't know what kind of drone it was. Tell me, what is being reported in the media?
That the drone is ours. It is being said that today a drone crashed into a residential building in Romania, and in Romania they are saying it was a Russian drone.
Who in Romania is saying it is a Russian drone?
Many in Europe are making such statements.
Many means nobody. Name specific individuals.
Ursula von der Leyen.
Mrs. von der Leyen was not in Romania, was she? She did not examine the remains of this drone. No one can determine the origin of any aircraft until an investigation has been conducted. We know that Ukrainian drones have entered Finland, Poland, and the Baltic states. The initial reaction was exactly the same as now in Romania. Alarm, the Russians are coming. The Russians are attacking. But shortly afterwards it turned out that these had nothing to do with Russian aircraft, but were Ukrainian-origin drones that went off course or were affected by electronic warfare or, due to technical imperfections, entered those territories and crashed there. I think this is most likely the case here as well. But if we are provided with objective data, as we once provided the American administration with information and the remains of drones that attempted to strike one of the residences of the President of the Russian Federation, we simply handed them over for examination. Let them give us the materials. We will conduct an objective investigation, and only then will we assess what happened.
As for the statements by European politicians that they are preparing for war with Russia, that is nonsense. This is being done, allegedly, in connection with Russia's aggressive plans towards Western European countries. This is a lie, a blatant, brazen lie. As Joseph Goebbels used to say back in the day, the more incredible the lie, the faster people will believe it. These are precisely the standards that Western politicians and mass media are introducing into their daily practice. Russia has never had any aggressive intentions towards European countries, and the tragedy unfolding in Ukraine is their doing. It is the result of their policy, because it was they who led to the state coup in Kiev in 2014. They have brought about the current tragedy, and now they are trying to shift the blame to show that Russia is the aggressive one. No, this is their policy from the very first step, when they deceived us that there would never be any expansion, that NATO would supposedly not take a single step eastward, right up to the tragedy in Ukraine with the state coup. This is all the result of their policy. Let them not deceive their own people. Russia has never threatened and does not threaten European countries. Everything they do is only to continue the confrontation with Russia and to justify excessive spending from their states' budgets, with dipping into the pockets of taxpayers in European countries.
Ukraine has sent its operators of unmanned systems, unmanned aerial vehicles, to the territory of Latvia. Accordingly, it plans to strike Russian territory. If such launches are recorded by our side, what response can we expect?
All places from which a direct military threat to Russia originates are legitimate targets. Certain contacts with Ukraine are maintained. I will not hide it, but there are no negotiations as such. Although we are ready to talk, we have never refused negotiations. We have not stopped them. We are ready for their proposal. They, the Baltic states, have the means to level Russian air defense bases in Kaliningrad. Russia has all the means to level anyone who tries to do that. I think those in the European Union are right who say that they themselves must determine the negotiator. We do not appoint one for them. When I proposed Mr. Schroeder, I meant that he was a person who could be trusted. Do you understand? They hang all sorts of labels on him there, that he is my friend and so on. Yes, we are friends with him, and why hide it? What is wrong with that? Is that bad? But it does inspire a certain degree of trust. At the same time, despite our friendship with him, he always, and I want to emphasize this, I want it to be known both here and in Germany, he always acted in the national interests of the German people and the German state. We do not determine that. I just offered, for example, Schroeder, or someone like him. It is not our job to determine the negotiator. But naturally, we can decide whether to meet with someone of current Western European politics or not. That is our right. We will see. They have not proposed anyone yet. Whether they will or not, we will also see, as well as whether we need to meet with some politician proposed, or not, whether we can trust him in anything or not. We held talks in Minsk back in the day and signed the Minsk agreements. But now we learn that they were signed in order to buy time, to arm Ukraine, but not in order to resolve all emerging issues by peaceful means, that thing we have always strived for and are ready for even now. Now that is indeed enough. Thank you very much.